Thank you very much, Kimberly. I want to welcome the members to the annual meeting of the North General Hospital Properties Holding Corporation. We have 5 items on the agenda: the election of officers and ratification of the policy resolution. If you look at the back of the first page of the NGHP deck, there are 6 officers being presented to the members for the approval for the coming year. Do you have any questions about this? About the people who are being proposed as both assistant treasurer and assistant secretaries? There being no objection to that, may I have a motion?
Al, if I can make one comment.
Wait. Do we have to do the? I'm sorry. You're right. Don't we have to do the legal notification to get into this meeting?
We, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, we will note the attendance of the same board members from the board meeting that just adjourned, and include the same written statement from the main board meeting within the transcript of these minutes to get to the first.
Terrific. But you did have a comment otherwise.
Yes, on the resolution for the election of officers and ratification of the prior policy resolution. As a technical matter, Kim Ellis and Kim Nadeau have requested one modification to the resolution that is before the board to also elect Stanley Reed as an assistant treasurer so that we have sufficient coverage. Subject to comments from the board, I have no legal objections to this request and am very comfortable with the proposed addition.
R-E-E or R-E-I-D?
Yeah.
I'm writing in the assistant treasurer's name. Is it R-E-E-D or R-E-I-D?
R-E-E-D.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we now have 7 people who've been proposed to assume the offices of assistant treasurer and assistant secretary. Are there any questions from the members about those folk? Hearing none, I suppose, as there are no objections, I guess I need a motion to approve the resolution.
Joan Sullivan, motion.
Thank you, Joan. Second?
I'll do it.
I'll
John
second.
Johnson.
It's Daryl.
John, thank you very much for the second. There is a second resolution required to adopt certain policies of the Dormitory Authority. We've done this in the past. The policies are outlined. Are there any objections or any questions?
As a technical comment, that the ratification of the prior policy resolution is included in the resolution before the board with the officers, and there is also in the package a copy of the original March 30th, 2011 resolution that this board, subsidiary board, previously adopted that would be ratified to adopt the policies, procedures, and guidelines of DASNY as the policies, procedures, and guidelines of the subsidiary NGHP Holding Corporation. Thank you.
Michael, thank you very much. Questions for Michael? Hearing none. May I have a motion, please, to approve the second resolution in the deck here? Resolution of the NGHP Holding Corporation adopting certain policies of the Dormitory Authority.
And we'll have that as the second part of the same resolution. They're both included in one resolution, so it's election of officers and ratification of prior policy resolution.
Got it.
So the
okay.
vote that was motion that was made and seconded can be voted on, and that will include everything.
Then may I have your approval? Let's see. This is, I'm sorry, Mike, I'm confused now. The resolution of the NGHP Holding Company, which adopts certain policies of the Dormitory Authority, and those policies are in here somewhere, that we've already done, or do we need to do that?
It also includes the election of the officers. It's all encompassed within one resolution.
Which we've
And
already voted on.
you have a motion by Joan and a second by John Johnson, and
thank
you
you.
just need to call the vote.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then we're fine. The motion carries. We have minutes to approve from the April 10, 2019 meeting. You've had a chance to read them. Are there any changes proposed? Anybody want to comment on the minutes? Hearing no comments and no questions, may I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes?
John Johnson, motion.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
I'll second. It's Beryl.
Beryl, thank you. And now we're going to go through the mission statement, and Mike, I'll ask your help here. The mission statement and the bylaws.
Certainly. We just need to call the vote on, you have a motion by John and a second by Beryl on the adoption of the minutes.
Oh, I thought I did that. Please forgive me. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any
Aye.
opposed? None. So the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mike.
All right, so the third item before the board for consideration is the annual review of the mission statement, performance measures, and metrics for NGHP Holding Corporation. Pursuant to the New York Public Authorities Law, the NGHP subsidiary board is required to annually review and approve the mission statement, performance measures, and metrics. At the November 12th Governance Committee meeting, the Governance Committee reviewed and concurred with staff's recommendation to revise Goal 2, Metric 1 of the metrics to reflect lease payments being received annually instead of within 30 days of the due date in the lease, to synchronize lease payments with the annual receipt of Medicaid reimbursement by NGHP. At the March 3rd, 2020 Governance Committee meeting, the committee then reviewed the mission statement and performance measures and concurred with staff's recommendation that no further changes be made to these sections at this time. The committee then recommended approval with the metrics revised as indicated to this board. Subject to any comments from the board today, staff recommends the adoption of the proposed resolution in the board materials to complete this annual review.
Thank you, Michael. Are there questions for Mike? There being none, may I have a motion, please, to approve the mission statements as Mike has outlined them?
So move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joan. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. And I guess the last element of the NGHP Holding Corporation is a report by the President. Mr. President?
We do have one item. The fourth item on the agenda is the annual review of the subsidiary bylaws. Would you like me to walk through that as well, Mr. Chairman?
Please do, Mike. Please do.
Thanks. Pursuant to New York Public Authorities Law, the NGHP subsidiary board is required to annually review and approve the corporate bylaws for the subsidiary. At the March 3rd, 2020 Governance Committee meeting, the Governance Committee reviewed these materials and concurred with staff's recommendation that no further changes be made to the bylaws at this time. The Governance Committee then recommended approval to the full subsidiary board. Subject to any comments from the board today, staff recommends the adoption of a motion to this effect to complete this annual review. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Michael, thank you very much. Are there questions for Mike? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please, to approve the bylaws?
I'll move.
Thank you very much, Beryl. John, thank you. John Johnson, thank you for the second. We now have the President's report.
And we just need to call the vote on that, please, just for the record, since we're audio and not video.
I'm sorry. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any
Aye.
opposed? The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. And the last item is the president's report, and I'll give a short update on that. In very brief terms, the NGHP subsidiary received title to the North General Hospital main hospital building, annex, and parking lot in June of 2011 pursuant to the plan of liquidation approved by the bankruptcy court. The subsidiary then leased the main hospital property to New York City Health and Hospital Corporation, or HHC, for use as a long-term acute care hospital, or LTAC. Simultaneously, the subsidiary conveyed title to the parking lot and annex to HHC for their use. As part of the court-approved plan, the subsidiary continued to monitor the use of the leased property and its development as an LTACH. Reconstruction and renovation work on the main hospital building was completed and opened as a 210-bed LTAC in November of 2013. The federal bankruptcy case for North General Hospital is now closed, and DASNY has received, and may receive further, small collection amounts from any receivables that are due to North General Hospital. The subsidiary also receives rental payments from HHC under the lease based upon the amount equal to all fee-for-service Medicaid capital cost reimbursement that HHA receives through the Department of Health attributable to the hospital lease. As noted in our report, the rental payments received from HHC, together with receivable collections previously noted, are insufficient to cover bondholder payments. Accordingly, bondholders continue to be paid by the state of New York for any deficiencies in principal and interest pursuant to the state service contract for this particular safety net provider. The North General Hospital bonds will mature on or about February 15th, 2025. Once bonds mature and the last rental payment is made to NGHP, the leased property may be conveyed to HHC. Assuming this occurs, the NGHP subsidiary will have accomplished its purpose and could theoretically be dissolved. Staff will continue to monitor and support the Department of Health, the Division of Budget, and the administration in these matters, including efforts referenced in the report to harmonize the receipt of rental payments with bondholder payments. Craig Schreibvogel and Dina Amodio are present, and we'd be happy to take any questions. If there are none, that concludes our report and the agenda for this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it very much. Are there questions for Mike or Craig or Dina?
Mike, what exactly are we approving?
There is no approval required. This is the annual report of the president to the board. It's part of the corporate compliance process.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. As there are no questions for Michael, is there any other business to come before this subsidiary board meeting?
Al?
Yes.
Al, this is Russ Biggs. I just wanted to let you know that I was still on the other meeting before and this one, and I'm going to stay on the phone with the other part. So I guess when you record it in the minutes or whatever, you can record it wherever it's appropriate for me.
I think we'll work it out. Russ.
Yeah, okay.
We'll figure it out. But
all right, I just wanted to let you know that.
You were on for the for the opening of the meeting, and you've been back on since.
I've been on. The only thing that I didn't participate in was your executive session because I didn't have access to the number and et cetera.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But I figured that was okay.
So you've been on the phone for the entire public meeting.
Exactly. I've been on the phone for it says
Okay.
over 2 hours so far.
Well, the record will reflect that, Russ, and thank you for pointing it out.
Okay.
Is there any other
It
business?
just looks good.
Yeah, it does. It does. As there is no further business to come before the subsidiary board, may I have a motion, please, to adjourn?
Motion, Joan Sullivan.
Thank you very much, Joan. Second?
Johnson.
Thank you, John. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Unless there's opposition,
Aye.
the motion carries unanimously, and the meeting has ended.